Hello everybody and welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Amy and today's class is about stories. We are going to read a little bit of an article about storytelling, and then we're going to talk about our favourite stories and perhaps even tell a story which comes from our cultural tradition or perhaps our favourite story. So do come along and join us if you would like to practice your speaking and reading. That's what we'll be looking at this morning. And also sort of how stories, why they're important, because they have an effect on our brain, strangely enough. All right, so do come along in if you would like to join us and practice your reading and speaking. And while we're waiting for the students who have already booked a slot, let me tell you about some stuff that can help you with your experience here on Verbling. If you would like to find some more information, then there are two handy pages that you can check out in your spare time. The first one that's there in the chat box is my Facebook page, and you can access that just to keep in touch with me or other students, just to see what's coming up with classes, what classes we've done recently, some resources. If I find some great videos on YouTube that are to do with English, then I do often post them on there, so do check that out if you have time. And if you're not a Facebook fan, but you still want to interact or find out a little bit more about one of the teachers, then the best place to go is to their Verbling teacher page. If you access the teacher page, then you can find several useful things, including the teacher's class calendar, and classes is exactly what we're doing right now. There's also the private tutoring, which is when you have a session just you and the teacher one-on-one, and you can check out their schedule and book a class straight from the Verbling teacher page. You can also write them a message. So if you have any questions about anything or you would like to get in touch with one of the teachers, head to their teacher page and you can ask them a question using the messaging feature. Don't forget to follow us and you'll receive automatic notifications. You can also see a little bit more about who we are and watch our introductory videos. So it's a good place to go. As I said before, today's class is about stories. So if you like stories, come on in and join us as we practice our reading. We've got an interesting article to read and we'll spend some time talking about it today. So if you want to have a look at the article, the link is on the class description, and we're going to say hi to our students. So first of all, Raphael, how are you doing?
Hi Amy, I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Good. I haven't seen you for a little while, Raphael. How's life?
Very busy life, plenty to do. 24 hours is not enough for me, no longer.
Okay, you're going to have to write to God, ask him for some more time.
Yes. But I'm fine, despite all these things, I'm fine. I'm happy and
Excellent.
ready for work and for study.
Very good. So what's taking up the most of your time, Raphael? Is it your job?
Yes, my job, since I started my new job and I haven't had enough time to join classes and because it's quite late for me to join your classes lately. Luckily today it's a day off here where I live, so I could join. I could take a little rest and prepare for tomorrow because tomorrow is another busy day. But never mind.
Awesome. So you're making the most of your day off by studying. I'm very impressed, Raphael.
Yeah.
So how come you have a day off on a Thursday? Is it some kind of a national day?
Actually, no. It's just a regional. I was gonna say regional holiday. Just some states adopt this today as a holiday, but not all of them. It's a kind of, how can I say, to honor the black awareness. It's for honor black people. Or
all right, cool.
It's one of these races.
So promoting racial relations, kind of a day.
Yes, sort of.
All right, well, you can make the most of it and celebrate black people and have a nice rest. It sounds fab. It's nice to see you. Okay, Raphael, our theme today is storytelling. Do you have a favorite story in your life from when you were little, or a favorite novel or book or film, any kind of a story?
Hmm. I remember when I was younger, there's a book I like to read.
Hmm.
Uh, it's five people when you. I don't know exactly the name in English, but it's five people when you meet in heaven. The five people will meet in heaven. And, it was an interesting story, but about a man who is dead. He died in an accident in an amusement park, and afterward he goes to heaven and start fighting five people who were important in his life, but some of them are not really sure. He wasn't even sure he had a great influence about in these people's lives because he is dead. He died
He
with a
died.
feeling. Yeah, he died. Yes, he died with a feeling that he wasn't important. He haven't done anything important in his life, but since he goes to heaven and he finds these people there and he started taking his life, not his life, but his lost life with another perspective. And it was interesting. It was an interesting story for me.
All right. And that does sound interesting. I wonder if you can figure out what the name is, or like maybe look it up on the internet while I'm saying hi to the other students. It'll be interesting to see that one. All right. Thank you. Welcome. And who came second? I think it was Dennis.
Uh, Hello.
Hey, Dennis. How are you today?
I'm just fine. And you?
Excellent. I'm great, thank you. Has it been a good day for you?
Yeah, I slept all day, so it was a good day for me. Yeah.
That is a good day. How come you
Yeah,
slept all day? Were you just extra tired, or are you sick, or you just
yeah,
needed
I
to
was
catch up on sleep?
extra tired and lectures I had to listen, they were extremely boring, so I just decided to sleep it over and, just to make time fly by and and I just slept because it wasn't useful for me, so what's
Oh,
the point in
okay.
listening if it's just nonsense? Yeah.
So is that lectures that are you studying a degree, or what kind of lectures?
Yeah, I'm a medical student, and it was something about statistics, not so important. How
Hmm.
was your day?
Well, actually, it's the morning for me, Dennis. So,
Ah,
so
morning.
far, I've not done a lot. Actually, no, I've spoken to my sister, which is always a great way to start a Friday.
Mm,
So she's in the
so far
UK,
so
and
good. Mm.
yeah, good. Gonna be a good
Okay.
Friday. So Dennis, we're talking about stories today. That's our theme. How they affect our brain, and also what kind of stories have had an impact on our life, or what kind of stories, I don't know, are interesting to us, I guess. So, do you have a favorite story?
I don't know if I can call it a story. It's more like story of which consists of three books. The Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
Yep.
Can we call it a story? Okay, yeah.
Yep. Well, when I
That's
say story today, I guess what I mean is not so much, once upon a time, but more like
uh-huh.
a wider explanation. We're going to look at it a bit more. So it could be a film or a book or maybe a
Mm-hmm.
tale or whatever. So tell us why you like Lord of the
Ah,
Rings.
okay. Mm-hmm. Of course, it is entertaining. I mean, when I was a child, when I was little, I read it in Russian, and now I read it in English.
Hmm.
So it's just interesting for me. It helps me study English, and at the same time, it's just fun. So that's why.
All right, that's really cool. I really recommend doing what you've just done is a really good way to practice, especially if you've already read the story in your own language, because it gives you a bit of a head start, right? Do you like The
Yeah,
Hobbit? Have you read The Hobbit?
yeah. I read it. Yeah, it's like how to say it, the first part of that story, right?
Hmm. And what did you think? Is The Hobbit just as good as Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, it's definitely not worse. It's I don't know, maybe it's not that good, but I like it
All
as
right, so
well.
it's reasonable. How about the films? I recently just watched one of the Hobbit films. Um, And I'm not sure what I thought of it, to be honest. I'm a big fan of the Lord of the Rings
Uh-huh.
films. I think they're really well done, and
Yeah.
they stay really kind of loyal to the book, but they manage to incorporate most of the story. Have you seen the Hobbit films or the Lord of the Rings films?
Yeah, I've seen all of them, and I think that they are cool, but books a little bit better because they contain the whole story, and a film is like reduced version of the books. So it's I like it. It's just cool. It's awesome, but okay. I think that books are a little bit better. Yeah,
All right.
that's my opinion. What do you think?
I think you have to. I think you're right. I think if a movie comes from a book, it always has to miss out stuff because it's just there's too much usually to fit in the time. So I agree. Yeah, if you want to get the full story, read the book definitely. All right. Welcome, Dennis. Nice to have you in class today.
Thank you.
I think it was Yuki who came next. So Yuki, hello.
Hi there, Amy. How's it going with
Going
you?
great, thank you, Yuki. It's already Friday for me, so I'm feeling really happy.
I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you. How's your day been, Yuki? What did you do today?
Today I did nothing. Only I joined some classes in the barbering. And today's theme, today's theme is storytelling, right?
Yes, that is correct.
In John Eric's class, I had read a story called The Zebra Storyteller. Have you heard about it?
The Zebra Storyteller.
Yes, it is written by Spencer Holst. It's a very short story. It is this story is about Siamese cat who can speak zebra's language fluently.
Fluently, I like it how you add
this cat sometimes approach to zebra, talk to them with their language in their language. Zebra was usually zebra is shocked hearing that, and they cannot move by because of surprise, because they are surprised. They can't. And at that moment, the cat killed zebras and take a meat from zebra and eat it and use their use their
skin.
Yes, use their skin to make a clothes. So yes, it's an awful story. But in the end of the story, there appears the zebra storyteller. It's a storyteller. It's a kind of writer. He is always thinking about his plot of the story. One fine day, he's thinking about next story about the cat who can speak zebra's language. So zebra storyteller met the cat. Yeah, this cat. Yeah, the cat tried to deceive this zebra storyteller because he's also zebra. But zebra storyteller didn't be deceived because he's a storyteller. He always thinking about the story. So finally the zebra could kill the cat. Cat was killed, and maybe peace come back to zebras. So
What a strange story. It sounds a bit...
story, very strange story. So every student have a very have upset of because of this story is very strange. So Joelic explained that I also don't understand the deep meaning of this story. But I think this story tell us about the important of the story. Story always win over lie. Yeah, such a kind of story. I live in Russia now. There is a very severe censorship is now going on. So I feel this meaning of this story very closely now.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I will recommend you read it. It's very, very short story. It takes short to read the story. So it's an excellent story.
It doesn't take long.
It doesn't take long to read up.
All right, thank you, Yuki. Very interesting. I'm definitely going to check that out later on today. Is that the link you've given us in the chat box?
Yes, I gave a link. Yes.
Thank you. All right, welcome. Very interesting. The zebra storyteller.
Yes,
all right, let's find out if we've got any more stories that we want to mention. So, Ismail, I think you were next. Hello.
Hello, Emmy.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you as well. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Ismail. I remember you came to class yesterday, but then you disappeared.
Yes, I am like a seabird.
A seabird.
Going into the ditch into the sea. Actually,
very cool. Ismail, how is your...
if you have time, I talk about my day. It was a disaster for me. I tried my car tire because it is going to be colder and colder at the end. Car tire.
Yeah, did you get a flat tire? A flat
tire? Snow is coming, and I thought that I should change my tire with snow tire.
Okay.
And I went to a mechanic. I wait 2 hours long, and he couldn't change my snow tire because the bolt was very tightened. And after that, I drove with my car to another car mechanic. They were partially successful. They can change my 3 tires, but at the last tire they used a false wrench, and they made my nuts bad, unuseful, and at the end I took my car and drove to a shop and bought 5 nuts, and I tightened my last tire with myself.
You did it yourself? Is it nice and secure, Ismail?
Yes. Nobody did your work, how can I say, in my country, correctly or perfectly. Everybody thinks that only to earn money.
That sounds like...
I am a poor man. I can not know everything, how to change car tire, how to fix my plumber's things, but if you use a serviceman, everybody has same experiences in my country.
Gosh, Ismail, that sounds like a pretty bad day, I must say.
Yeah.
So is your
Yes.
car okay now? Is your car ready for the snow?
Yes.
Let's
My
hope it
car is
snows a lot
ready.
so you can make the most of it.
How is the weather? Amy, are you in US?
Gypsy.
I
Sorry,
read the
Ismail?
news that there are some deaths because of the bad weather condition in some cities in US.
I don't know, to be honest, Ismail. I haven't heard about it, but it could be true. Let's hope it's not, because that's a bit sad. So Ismail, today's class is about stories. Do you have a favorite story?
Stories like fable or
It could be fables. Although Dennis mentioned Lord of the Rings, which is more like an epic trilogy, so it could be anything really.
yes, I like unreal stories like Lord of Rings.
So fantasy.
Fantasy stories.
All right, cool. Well, welcome to the class, Ismail. I'm going to say hello to our last student, who's Renee, or maybe Ren. Hello,
Hello, Rene.
Renee.
Yes,
All right, nice to meet you. Where are you from, Renee?
nice to meet you too, Amy. I'm from Venezuela.
Okay, Venezuela. Tell me about your English studying, Renee. Why are you studying English?
I study English at the university. I got graduated in tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I've been in Berlin for 2 years ago. So but I stopped it. Then I'm getting back.
All right. Well, welcome. It's great to have you back, Renee.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite story?
Oh, my favorite story is it's very long indeed. Have you ever heard about in English it would be 100 years of loneliness?
Solitude. Are you talking about 100 Years of Solitude?
Solitude. Oh, right. Yes, it is the same. Yes.
About Macondo?
Yes, exactly. Could you read it?
Yes, I've read it.
But completely.
Yep.
Fine, fine. That's one of my favorite story. Here in Venezuela, we used to, when we go to high school, when we're in high school, we used to read about some Latin American writer. Yes. Even from Venezuela or from Chile.
Mm-hmm.
All those ladies. And 100 Years of Solitude is one of the we have to do, so that we have to read. Those are very good, but some frustrating because you sometimes you have to read it twice in order to understand it well.
I think that's true, Renee. To be honest, I started to get confused with the characters because they all have the same name.
Yes. I just realized that there was 7 generations, right?
Yeah.
Was repeating their name. Some of the name was unique, but many of the generation had the same name as Aureliano Buendia, Jose Arcadio. Most. So it was complicated to establish some relationship between them and to establish a time stop, right? Which of them were in which generation? Where were they're talking about, what were they talking about exactly. It's complicated, but it is interesting because it's a unique story, right? And of course, Macondo is a fictional population, but it came from the from a common, how could I say, even when they is fictional, those happen in the time that Gabriel Garcia Marquez wrote it. Yes?
Yeah.
It was something about something real. Yes. Poor population in Colombia and in Venezuela for those times that Garcia Marquez wrote it. Was in that way. It was realistic in some in that way. But
Absolutely, yeah. We call it magical realism, Renee. I don't know what the term is in Spanish, but that's what it is in English. So it's like
realism.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So a couple of other, I mean, Garcia Marquez's books and also some other writers come under that genre. So it's quite distinctive, like Latin American genre.
Yeah.
Like Como Agua para Chocolate. I don't know who wrote that, but it's also magical realism.
All right. Did you have you ever heard about Rómulo Gallegos?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Doesn't ring a bell. Maybe I'll have to look him up.
Yeah. There is a story, a similar story. Doña Bárbara is the name in Spanish.
Okay. Awesome.
Maybe the same. Maybe it's the same in English. Something similar, right? Just talking about the story in a farm. Los Llanos. How do you say that in English?
How do you say what?
Los Llanos.
I don't know. Can you type it for me?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. That word rings a bell, and I can't think what it would be. Just a moment.
Yes, in English it's the same. Yeah.
What's it referring to?
Yeah, a prairie.
Oh, plains or prairies, yeah.
Prairie,
Okay,
yeah.
like flat
Yeah.
places.
Exactly. Those story both Doña Bárbara and in 100 Years of Solitude, they talk about the same, right? So they were environmental. Yes. The background is the same.
Yeah. The setting.
Yes, but they speak similar. The way to produce the history of the stories is similar for both of them. Both of them were Gallegos and Garcia Marquez were great writers.
Absolutely. There are so many amazing Latin American authors. I could probably talk for hours about it. It's really good to have you guys in the class. We've got a really good range of people from different places. So what we're going to do is we're going to start reading this quite a short article. We should be able to get through it. So if you guys would like to access the link, it's in the chat box. I might need to post it again because it's disappeared. There you go, guys. Otherwise, just follow along with us, and I'm going to get Dennis to start, if you wouldn't mind, Dennis, with the title and the first paragraph, please.
Okay. I don't mind at all. Okay. It's quiet and dark. The theater is hushed. James Bond skirts along the edge building as his enemy takes aim. He's in the audience, heart rates increase and palms sweat. I know this to be true because instead of enjoying the movie myself, I'm measuring the brain activity of a dozen viewers. For me, excitement has a different source. I'm watching an amazing neural ballet in which a storyline changes the activity of people's brain.
Thank you, Dennis. We'll stop there. We're going to do one paragraph at a time, just to check everyone understands. That was perfect reading. Any questions, guys, about vocabulary, firstly?
Skirts.
Skirts. Excellent word, this one. What does skirts mean? James Bond skirts along the edge of a building. Anyone want to have a guess?
Sneaking.
Skirts.
Yeah, sneaking,
Dress?
sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to do with dress, no. This is the verb to skirt. It means that you're going along the edge. Yeah, exactly right. The edge of something. So if you skirt along the edge, it's like you're very, very in danger of falling off, Raphael. Okay, it's really difficult because it's a narrow ledge, maybe something like that. So you've probably got your back against the wall and you're just taking a step at a time. Any other questions?
Palms. What does palms mean?
Palms,
Palms.
not the
it's
tree.
Front. It's a part of your hand.
Yes,
Huh?
it's actually, if I just take off the screen, it's this.
Yeah.
Okay? Your palm
Yes.
of your hand is that flat part of your hand. All right. So you've got sweaty palms. Any other words? No. Okay. So Yuki, can you just quickly tell me where are we and what are we doing so far?
Sorry, just I missed the point. Just give me a time. I'm sorry.
No problem,
I
Yuki.
wrote the chat box. I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe
I
Raphael.
know
Maybe
what you're thinking about. I
help
read
me.
your comment.
I'm sorry. Raphael, help me.
Raphael, he needs you to bail him out.
Yes.
Well,
there-
you can
Yes,
still
help me out.
entertain with someone else, something else. So let me see.
I'm shipwrecking now.
We are inside of the, I think we're in movie theater.
Yep. And what are we doing? And what's happening?
We're watching a James Bond movie.
Yep. And who's the writer? Who's writing this article? What job does he have?
He's a scientist, I think. Maybe.
Yes, that's right.
Brain-
He's a scientist.
brain-
A brain scientist. Exactly. A guy who's measuring the brain activity of the people who are watching the story. Okay? All right. Well done, guys. Let's move to the next paragraph. Ismail, could you read many business people?
Okay. Many business people have already discovered the power of storytelling. In a practical sense, they have observed how compelling a well-constructed narrative can be. But recent scientific work is putting a much finer point on just how stories change our attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors.
Beautiful reading. Thank you, Ismail. Any questions, guys, about the vocab?
Compelling.
What does compelling mean? Anybody?
Powerful, forceful, I don't know.
To
Yes,
obligate.
exactly.
Defiant.
What?
To
Sorry.
obligate.
Okay,
Convincing.
sorry. Could you repeat that, guys? Renee, what did you say?
I said to compel is to obligate.
Obligate. It can be to obligate. Exactly. That's a good sense of it. Raphael, what did you say?
No, it was just a guess, and it was a wrong guess according with
Alright.
my search.
All right, so yes, it's sort of an obligation. It's almost something that attracts you, it very strongly attracts you. And it can be almost like an obligation. It's so attractive that you can't avoid doing it.
Maybe other word would be to persuasive. To persuade,
Yeah.
something persuasive. That could
Yep.
be better.
That's in this particular
Convincing.
context, persuasive could work really well. That's true. But if something's compelling, it's a good, positive adjective. If a story is compelling, it's like you can't put your book down, right? You just have to keep on reading. Any other
Can also-
questions? Yeah.
Can also be something which causes constraints, I think.
Compel causes you constraint? Yes, possibly, Raphael. It depends on the context. Alright, oopsie. I'm just going to try and scroll without causing my computer problems. Okay, Raphael, it's your turn to read from As Social Creatures.
As social creatures, we depend on others for our survival and happiness. A decade ago, my lab discovered that a neurochemical called oxytocin is a key. It's safe to approach others signal in the brain. Oxytocin is produced when we are trusted or shown a kindness, and it motivates cooperation with others. It does this by enhancing the sense of empathy, our ability to experience others' emotions. Empathy is important for social creatures because it allows us to understand how others are likely to react to a situation, including those with whom we work.
Great reading. Well done, Raphael. This one here, though, is signal with a hard G. Signal.
Signal.
Yeah. If it's when it's sign, it's a no G at all, but this one particularly is signal. Okay, any questions, guys? Vocab? No? Alright, Dennis, can you explain to me what is oxytocin and why is it produced in our brains?
It's a hormone. I don't know where it is produced. Why? It's produced in order to when you hug someone, it is produced. When you have a close contact, like it is produced. So actually, it binds people together. They develop a close relationship because of this hormone.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well done. So it's related to empathy. Okay. So far, so good, everybody. Renee, could you read for more recently, please?
All right. More recently, my lab wondered if we could hack the oxytocin system to motivate people to engage in cooperative behavior. To do this, we tested if narrative shot on video rather than face-to-face interaction would cause the brain to make oxytocin. By taking blood draws before and after the narrative, we found that character-driven stories do consistently cause oxytocin synthesis. Further, the amount of oxytocin released by the brain predicted how much people were willing to help others. For example, donating money to a charity associated with the narrative.
Well done, Renee. Really good reading from everybody so far. All right, Ismail, can you explain to me what have we learnt from this paragraph? What's it telling us?
The last paragraph, I mean?
Just this one here that Renee read for us.
Yes, actually, the scientists try to hack this our brain, and they try to produce our brain more oxytocin hormones, and also they create a relationship and maybe help or how can I say, among the people.
Okay, yes, that's very, very close, Ismail. So what they really did was try to induce the production of oxytocin rather than actually sort of go into your brain and force it to happen, right? They tried to see whether watching something on video instead of actually face-to-face live interaction would have the same effect on producing oxytocin. And they find that it did have the same effect or that it didn't have the same effect.
I think they were trying to demonstrate that oxytocin can be produced artificially. They are sure that oxytocin is produced by face-to-face interaction, yes, human interaction, social interaction. They wanted to demonstrate that they can do it artificially by expose those people to a different interaction by a narrative interaction, right?
Exactly right. Thank you, Renee. So it basically, question?
What is a character-driven story? What is the difference between, how can I say, a usual story and character-driven story? Would you
perform somebody? A story performed by somebody.
All right. Renee, did you want to respond to Ismail's question?
I think the character-driven story is a story that is performed by somebody.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's not very clear here, Ismail, but I think that what it's referring to is stories that have the central focus on characters rather than, say, the plot, maybe, have more impact, right? So if you are invested in the character of a story, then oxytocin is produced. But if it's just like, you know, maybe an action-based story that doesn't have a lot of character impact, perhaps it doesn't cause oxytocin so much. Does that make sense?
Actually, I couldn't understand. Could you give an example? Because every story has many characters. I couldn't remember any story without characters.
Yes, it's not so much that there aren't any characters, Ismail, it's that the main focus of the story, is it on the characters? So if you think of a story, I don't know, think of a traditional story like Pride and Prejudice, right?
Yes.
Basically nothing happens in that apart from you learn about the characters and you follow their lives. There's not exactly a real thick plot. Most of the story is based upon the characters and who they are, right?
Oh,
Yes.
it's a story of my wife's favorite story. Yeah.
Probably a lot of girls' favourite story, that one.
Yes.
And then if you think of something else like Fast and Furious, have you seen that movie?
Yes.
It's about cars racing, right? It's not particularly based upon the characters so much as watching fast cars race around a track. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
So-
I mean,
Yeah, a little bit?
yes.
All right, great. Let's continue. So Yuki, it's your turn to read in subsequent.
Okay. In subsequent studies, we have been able to deepen our understanding of why stories motivate voluntary cooperation. This This research was given a boost when, with findings from the U.S. Department of Defense, we developed ways to measure oxytocin release non-invasively at up to 1,000 times per second. We discovered that in order to motivate a desire to help others, a story must first sustain attention, a scarce resource in the brain, by developing tension during the narrative. If the story is able to create that tension, then it is likely that attentive viewers, listeners, will come to share the emotions of the characters in it. That after it ends, likely to continue mimicking the feelings and behaviors of those characters. This explains the feeling of dominance you have after James Bond saves the world, and your motivation to work out after watching the Spartans fight in 300.
Thank you, Yuki. The Spartans.
It's a hero, yeah, ancient.
Yeah. So 300 is the movie. The Spartans are the race of people that are in that movie. Just this one here, Yuki, you did get it right, but it was a tricky one. Non-invasively.
Non-invasively.
Yes. Does anyone want to ask about any of the words?
Non-invasively.
Who would like to explain non-invasively?
You don't enter the body. For example, you can use a syringe or something else instead of a syringe, and not to invade the body, the human body.
Dennis. We have a medical student right here, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
So if you have invasive medicine, that means that they are somehow entering your body with like a syringe, just as Dennis said, or something else. Non-invasive is they're not actually entering your body. They might put a sticking thing on you or something, but they're not actually sticking anything inside you, okay? Definitely preferable, I think, Dennis, right? Okay. So basically, anyone got any other questions?
No. I was saying that you should ask to the doctor.
We should ask what? Sorry, Renee?
So you should ask to the doctor.
Ask the doctor. Ask the doctor, yes. Dennis, you've explained that for us. Thank you very much. I would also like you to explain what it says in this paragraph. What happened in the subsequent studies?
We got a better understanding of how it works, and we found out that how to determine the amount of oxytocin being released per second, and basically we discovered that in order to be interesting, it must somehow sustain attention. So you must want to listen to that story. It must not be boring in order to make people produce oxytocin and experience some kind of feelings to the story.
Yep, perfect. Thank you, Dennis. All right, so I like the way it says at the end, this explains the feeling of dominance you have after James Bond saves the world and your motivation to work out. Have you guys experienced this before? Like after watching a movie, you suddenly feel the need to do something which is related to that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Every time when I watch the film, samurai film, Japanese, I feel the dominance. So I feel good.
Does it inspire you?
Only I can feel only I can feel a dominance. Only soon after watching the film. Such a film disappears soon.
Yeah.
And
Disappears quickly.
my wife away to me at home when always when I talk to her, such a dominance completely disappears.
Thank you, Yuki.
Yes.
Anyone else
Now
have an experience?
Now it's the time for my wife to feel a dominance upon me.
Okay. Does anyone else have a similar feeling, or can you remember a movie? What happens to you after you watch Lord of the Rings, Dennis?
I want to go. I want to go to
Fight
the
some orcs?
forest. Fight some orcs. Yeah, why not? That would be fun since they're bad guys and nobody would miss them. when I watch House MD, maybe you know this TV show. It's American. Has anyone watched this TV show, House MD, Dr. House? Yeah, and when when I watch this TV show, I want to figure out some medical mysteries
People.
afterwards. Yeah.
That's handy,
That's-
considering you're a doctor, Dennis.
Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do, right?
All right, Renee says he wants to go start fighting after watching Matrix movies.
Yeah, something like that. Or when I watch Bruce Lee movies.
Bruce Willis. Yeah, absolutely. I can totally understand. All right.
Somebody stop Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Okay, we've got a few more paragraphs to read, guys. Would anyone like to read the next one? These findings?
I'd like to read if
Okay, go
they
ahead, Dennis.
mind. Okay. I hope nobody minds if
No,
I read.
we
Okay.
don't.
These findings on the neurobiology of storytelling relevant to business settings. For example, my experiments show that character-driven stories with emotional content results in a better understanding of the key points a speaker wishes to make and enable better recall these points weeks later. In terms of making impact, this blows the standard PowerPoint presentation to bits. I advise business people to begin a representation with a compelling human-scale story. Why should customers or a person on the street care about the project you're in? How does it change the world and improve lives? How will people feel when it is complete? These are the components that make information persuasive and memorable.
Great, thank you, Dennis. Really nice reading. Just one point about this word here. Because we've got this as a noun, emotional content, the emphasis is on con. If it's a verb, then it's content. Okay? Sorry, an adjective.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I feel content.
I always get it mixed up.
No problem. It's a bit confusing, that one, to remember. Okay, any questions, guys, about this paragraph here?
Yes, Amy. I couldn't understand with a compelling human scale story. What is it?
That's
Say
your
it again.
favourite word again, Ismail. Compelling. Okay, what is a compelling human scale story? Anyone care to explain?
Human scale.
So I think author of this story recommend to business people to tell a story about concrete person nearby, yeah,
Yep.
for them. In order for listener to feel to feel real person, to imagine real person. So it would be very effective. So then your presentation would be very effective.
Yes,
Yeah?
that's very good, Yuki. So, Ismail, a compelling human scale story is basically a story that we can relate to. It's something that we can imagine happening to us, or something related to our personal human lives. And Renee's to make something understandable to viewers. Yeah, really good. Have you guys ever experienced this, listening to somebody's speech or somebody talk about something and they told a really good story and you've remembered it ever since?
For example, the speech of Steve Jobs, yeah? The speech, I think he often in his speech, he often cite a real story he has experienced. Not the obstacle one, very concrete example of the cases he want to say. So it very effectively moves people into moves people. Yes, maybe it's a final aims for them, but not only that. It moves them people sometimes into tears. Yeah, so and it's very useful to convince people.
Yes, exactly
to
right.
buy Apple's products, maybe to buy Apple's products. I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what this article is saying, Yuki. It's totally true. Does anyone have another example of somebody who they remember telling a really great story, and they maybe bought something or was affected by it in a positive way or maybe a negative way? Not really? All right, guys, finish reading this off yourself if you have time. We haven't really got time to finish this now. I think it's a very interesting point because I think that we're surrounded by stories, and it's interesting to see what actually happens in your brain, that certain chemicals are released. So it's as if you were actually experiencing that thing and not just reading about it. Thank you, Renee, for that comment. I think there are many famous people. If you think back in like, you know, influential people of the world, I think a lot of them have been storytellers in one way or another. So have a think about it. Even if they're not writers, you know, maybe successful people in lots of areas of life have been successful because of their stories. You never know. Talking of stories, if you want to practice writing some stories, you can come along and join me for my next class. Does anyone have any comments to make before we finish? Final comment?
Do you know in Russia, Mikhail Bulgakov, he's a writer, famous writer, very popular. In his masterpiece, The Master and Margarita, there is such a sentence: manuscripts that don't burn. Every Russian people know this sentence. Manuscripts don't burn. So it says the power of storytelling. So in spite of severe censorship, his works still revived, survived, and people nowadays also continue to read his story, Mikhail Bulgakov's story. So that's a good example of today's theme.
Thank you, Yuki. All right, with that, guys, don't forget to check out the chat box because I think we've shared some really good literature and stories in there. So I'm going to read about the zebra storyteller later on. Thanks for that. And I'm not going to read 100 Years of Solitude again just now, but maybe in the future I will. So thanks, everybody. It was great to meet you. It was great to have you in class. Take care, and see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you for the class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
Bye,
Take care.
guys.